Hopefully, you've now watched the video on how to form present tense. So I know that's a lot to remember. When do I change vowels? When don't I change vowels? So I came up with this thing called a vowel chart. Instead of having to remember which conjugation is changing when, because we're going to have to eventually do more than just present tense with verbs. And since there are 6 tenses in Latin, it can get overwhelming. So rather than trying to memorize each irregularity, we're just going to make a vowel chart. Basically what this means is you're going to write down the vowel that comes right before the endings and then include the endings. So I've written this one out. For first conjugation, your vowel chart should be as follows. O, because every single first is going to be an O, except for third IO and fourth, which is an IO, because we know this. I did put an EO in second. You don't necessarily need to do this. After that, for first, you'd go to your second principal part, figure out that your stem is an A, and you'd go all the way through with that. For this vowel chart, I just put an A, and then your ending. A-S-A-T, A-M-U-S, A-T-I-S, A-N-T. For second, you would go to your second principal part, realize that it's a long E and long is strong. So what you would then do is you would go ahead and mark on there the E as your stem. So it would be sede instead of just the E, but we're just going to shorten it for the vowel chart. So it's an E-S-E-T-E-M-U-S-E-T-I-S-E-N-T. Then we would go to third, which we'd go to the second principal part, realize that E, short E, is not strong, and you would change it to an I everywhere except for the last one, which you would change to a U. Again, this is just the shortened version, so it's I-S-I-T-I-M-U-S-I-T-I-S-U-N-T. And last but not least, we have third IO and fourth. So for these, you should know by now, because there's an IO in both of the first principal parts, that it's going to be exactly like third, except for any time that there is a vowel other than an I, you add an I before that vowel. For example, we can go to the word yakio yakere, which is a third IO. You realize the first principal part has an IO, which means it's either a third IO or fourth, and so you would look at the second principal part, it has a short ERE, so it's third IO. Get the first part of the chart, you just copy and paste the first word, so it would be yaki-o. Normally, for any part of the chart, it's just an O. Again, because that is not an I, you have to add an I before the O. So your verb chart there would be an I-O. From there, you're going to have to go to the second principal part to get your stem. You realize that that E is a short E, so long is strong. That's a short E, so it's not strong, so it's going to change to an I. For fourth, this is a similar situation, only you don't actually have to change anything. So you go to the second principal part, and you have an I-R-E instead of an E-R-E. You actually can just keep the I there. Either way, you find out your stem is an I, you write that everywhere, and that last one, normally for third, you would change it to a U. Because that's not an I, you add an I-U, which means your chart is I-O, I-S, I-T, I-M-U-S, I-T-I-S, I-U-N-T for both third IO and fourth. This vowel chart will get extended every time we add another tense of the verb, but for now, all you need to really be concerned with is memorizing this part of the vowel chart.